this. So let's just get into it. My name is Mimi, or my name is Amina. I go by Mimi. Um, so these gnats are fucking beyond my fucking nerves now. Like they're beyond my fucking nerves. Beyond my nerves. Okay? That's one. Two, um, they couldn't get to this one tomato I have. It fell and it was in the corner, in the dark corner. And like my light shines directly on them so I can see all of them. Like literally, like I could see all of them. Like and I just kind of like didn't do anything yesterday after I got home. I like just wanted to relax and then I woke up so early as I promised. Like I woke up so early, and because I woke up like so early, like so much earlier than I usually wake up, um, I don't think I was even like given anything to do. Like I think like I just kind of chilled for a little bit, and then like my instructions were like, okay, just take a nap or whatever. Like you can go to bed. Like you know what I mean. So I could just release, like because of my bodily fluids and like what's going on with me right now. I don't really have much obligation, so everything that I do is really just like is just charity. But now 30 minutes before I have to go, now it's like, you know what I mean, a lot of shit to do. I don't like the way that the light shines behind me like that. My fucking fluorescent bulbs light behind me like that, but if I switch it off then it's genuinely dark. Wait, let me actually see if that works. Hold on one second. Oh, never mind. I guess it does work. Okay, here we go. That looks better. Okay, so basically, the gnats are beyond my fucking nerves. Okay, and let's just get into it. They couldn't find the one lone tomato just sitting out there, so I was like wondering, right? I knew that they were coming out of like the sewage system or something like that. Like I don't know, but I'm trying to move, so that's another thing. I figured like it's just gonna be, frankly, like it's just gonna be really hard. It's just gonna be really, really hard. Um, this is gonna be so hard. I don't know. Um, but I had to mention earlier that my great grandparents, those that escaped the Holocaust, had to run away from Poland, Germany, and Israel into Russia. So that's why we love Russia. So there's not much that you could do to convince me that Russia is at fault for defending itself, kind of literally. So now people are trying to like spread rumors and like whatever the fuck. I don't get into politics on my channel like that because I feel like it's obvious. Like you can just travel there. And if you can't travel there, then ask yourself why, you know? And if you can't get out of your country because of whatever reason, then ask yourself why. And take a couple other countries, for example, the NKs, you know? Ask yourself why, you know, before you start trying to act like you are the president. So, let's get into this reading. So we got me out, the Empress out, right? And then you have Ten of Swords in reverse and not sharing. So there's like something I'm not sharing. So basically it's what happened in my like I told you, I don't do the politics on my channel, right? So it's saying here, right? There's a very big reason as to why I'm not sharing how we ran away, what we did to run away, and how my family really escaped, right? And our nomadic principles, why I'm not sharing my nomadic principles, right? So that's another thing. But the cards that are coming out here are the lies that to clear them out, right? So clearly it's with that lie energy. So first energy there is like betrayal, those traitors. So traitors that had been exiled from my family, right? That decided either not to run away or to work with the enemy, right? Um, there are possibilities of those, right? So that happens in every, you know what I mean? Their fall from glory, their fall from the light, and what you call it, the just the ingrate actions and ingrateness that they actually are, and the kind of misery that they signed a deal to receive in their life, okay, and how they are not powerful. They're not powerful, they're not rich, they don't have anything, they don't own anything, and they could be slaves, but they failed to do even that. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. About that business. Okay. And then about that business. Okay. And then what'd you call it? Yeah. And this is actually quite ironic. And this is literally what happened. So every time we're about to start talking about like their in great energy and who the fuck they are and what they are, the ancestors pull up, you know, the heavens pull up the quite literally the angels, the community, we all, you know, pull up and take us away. Like literally, you see, I got business calls. I got shit to do. And that's literally an example of what just happened, literally. So, so whatever they're saying isn't over or isn't ended has not ended for them, but it is over for us. The whole lie in the situation is that the world is ending, there's doom kind of energy. There's no real doom. The only doom that is them, and that's why, because they're traitors. They're traitors to the empire. Yeah, the kingdom empire, the empire beyond kingdom. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying now? I hope you really understand what I'm saying now. There's kingdom, and then there's the empire beyond kingdom. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's keep it pushing the real work, the real imperial work, right? So why we're here, what we're doing here, why are the Empire Scouts here? Why are the Empire Scouts here? Right? The Knight of Swords energy, right? So the reason goes to it goes to show some sort of, I guess it's a dismissal. So hear ye, right? The empire is calling for, yeah, a dismissal. So this is tax evasion. Hear ye, the empire is calling forth for the reprimanding of all those that attempt to evade taxes. So tax evasion is a huge show of traitorism, of trading, right? So if they can work and they're not working, and they've got taxes to pay and they're not paying them, then they're being called to basically be reprimanded, right? And then there's two of wands, three of pentacles energy. Yeah, it's there's been a submission of all the names, all the people, all the individuals, all the kinds of energies that they are and attempt to hide in. So once you know their energy signature, you can't really hide in any other energy signature or anything like that. You can't skew it or anything like that. It is what it is. So yeah, they're being kicked out. Yeah, they're being kicked out. Yeah, for basically not following code. There's a lot of that going on. So it's real. I feel like that in itself is political. So there's a card that fell through. Yeah, traitors. They're traitors. So the Knight of Swords are starting to catch all the traitors, right? And what they've been doing, they've been evading taxes. And this is not like, oh, they're evading general federal tax. No, they're evading imperial tax. So imperial tax would be like karma. dharma, karma, dharmic payments, karmic payments. So like, for example, for you to be able to receive your dharma, you have to pay for it, right? It's kind of like the fee of receiving, right? It's obvious, right? It shouldn't be a problem because when you receive your dharma, you get the extra. So I couldn't do my borscht. I was gonna make borscht last night and I was gonna make borscht this morning, but I couldn't do it even though, yeah, I told you guys I woke up so early. I couldn't do it. It was like not a part of what I was supposed to be doing anyways, but I couldn't do it. So there's something about them trying to, yeah, exactly. And it's really fucked up. King of Pentacles is here. King of Pentacles is here saying, yeah, that, what'd you call it? That he's not receiving any fee payments. He's not receiving any transition payments from the Queen of Pentacles in reverse energies. So he's not receiving any dharmic payments for people to receive their dharma. So where are they getting their quote unquote blessings from? Right? Where are they receiving their blessings from? And so now, what'd you call it? This is coming to kingdom. This is being shown to kingdom. So kingdom is seeing, what'd you call it? So like the Lord Jesus Christ is the king, right? So king of heavens, right? So you got God, you got Jesus Christ, and you got, you know what I mean, all the rest of those that are in kingdom, and they're all seeing, all the angels and everything, they're all seeing how it is that these people have been evading payments, right? So obviously the imperial codes have been being broken, and so kingdom isn't being held liable to now pay for these people's fees, right? So that's another thing. So where they would have been bonds, right, and such like that, it's just not being paid. As I suggest, it's not being paid. And now they're attempting to justify it. So now they're attempting to go to court, spiritual court in kingdom, and justify not paying imperial tax. And that's not working, right? That's not working because they're not in kingdom. They're not a part of kingdom. Actually, Jesus Christ would have owned these people, right? As like I said, they would have been slaves, and then the kingdom would have paid for the fees for the dharma, but they refused. So they wanted to be, what was it called again? Yeah, they wanted. Oh my goodness, they're skewing the energy of the information here on Earth. I only have like 15 minutes left. They're trying to skew the information here on Earth. And it's like, no, there is a complete stop to all of that because the chariot is in reverse in a situation. See, there's a stop. There's a complete and utter stop to a situation. So that's probably why I couldn't do my borscht, is because it's like being seen, like if I was to eat like Ukrainian borscht, like cold borscht, it's like, do I really want to support Ukraine right now? Right? And then there's another thing right now where it's like, if I wanted to do my Russian borscht, it's like, do I really want to get political? Right? So now they're trying to bring it. Remember when we were talking about how there's a vision, and they're trying to skew that vision or trying to dismiss that vision or trying to project on that vision. So now there's a whole refabrication, right? So the shamans are waking up, right? The Siberians are waking up, right? You got the Mongolians waking up, and you don't really want the Mongolians to wake up because we remember the last time the Mongolians woke up, one person decided that he wanted all of it. So, so you know what I mean? Know what I mean? There's a whole different scenario going on here. So now with the Mongols and the Siberians and all of those of the North waking up to realize what's really going on, they're not really liking it. And we know when we don't really like something up in the North, you know, winter is coming. Winter is coming. And so, because we haven't heard that side of the story, have we? No, we have. Wait, we kind of did hear the side of the story, but so long the message goes, right? So basically they've been projecting their covetedness, right, of youth at sweet soul energy. So like 144 at chosen one energy, right? So there's chosen one energy, this innocence there, and then they've been projecting their demons at them. So like they're demonic energies, let's just say. It's real demonic. Let's see. Let me explain like how it's been really demonic, because it's like, you ever see a child in like the astral, we have so many movies about it. So Japan knows about it. So Japan is well aware, right? There's like, yeah, because like in Japan, after those kids, what'd you call it? The girls who died, and you know what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about. What Japan is having to deal with, right? The grudges and the hate and the slandering and the, you know what I'm talking about, right? What Japan is really most popular for. And so, undersupplied market, so meaning scarcity. So they've been trying to meet a false demand for films, we could say. Um, right? And it's more so readiness and reliability. There it is. It's like, there's specific kind of films that they're attempting to burn themselves for. And there seems to be a scarcity of these films. Good job. Non-sarcastic. Good job. There seems to be scarcity for these films right now. And they're trying so hard to get these films going again. And it's not working out because they can't get ready. There's an urgent need. And that urgent need is being sent back to sender, because that urgent need seems to be this desire that they want to complete for themselves. That insatiable void is starting to scream at them, is starting to push at them, gnaw at them. They're being gnawed by their insatiable void. And they think that the only way to fulfill that void is by sacrificing children and animals. We already told you what kind of meaning of sacrifice they actually are talking about. So they're definitely not talking about throwing children and animals into volcanoes, okay? That's not the kind of burning I'm talking about. I'm talking about the type of burning that brings these children and animals together in a productive film production. And I'm not talking to Air Bud, okay? So, snare maker persona, now we know why they're ensnared, right? So created dilemmas where every choice seems to benefit them. For example, scrubbing. So we know that they're lazy, so they scrub aspects of the film that they make, the movies they make, right? They scrub aspects of it in order to hide yeah, now we're thinking. Now we're thinking. So it's like, whatever it is that they're cutting, that's why I make these videos super uncut, right? Circumcising, right, is literally the thing, the crime that they're committing in those films. That's how they're hiding it in plain sight. So they film all at one go, and then they scrub the aspects that show the actual scarcity that they're trying to fill up for. The whole point is to use what they're doing to manifest an undersupplied market. They're enabling that treachery. And it's like by abusing subtlety, it's like queer baiting. Yeah. Are they gonna kiss? Are they not gonna kiss? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna do that? Are they gonna do this? They're getting awfully close that way. They're doing that. They're doing something that way. Oh, you know what I mean? Remember when I was talking about my cat, like trying to, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Now, I just want to remind people how genetic constructs hold memories as well as the muscles, right? So these are protein strands that hold genetic components that hold memories. So in the bloodline, the memories trickle down, and the one who's more dominant within the bloodline receives all the memories, and then they can move through them and the instincts that they receive from the memories. So they always move instinctually by the memories. So if the bloodline and the beginning of the bloodline is used to doing these kinds of production films, then it's going to trickle down the genetic construct. And so the younger ones now behave in the same genetic components as the people that were in those films. So my cat could probably watch a movie where their great ancient family member had been abused and be like, I know what happens next after that. How about I do the same thing? Do you see what I'm saying now? So it's really hard to hide these things, the treachery, because it literally trickles down. Okay. So now it's being cleared up genetically on a genetic level, but not without being exposed, right? The truth. On what families were involved. So if you ever, you know, that moment where someone is like, I didn't even know my grandfather or my great grandma or my auntie knew Beyonce. Oh, I didn't even know that they were all partying together. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm talking about now? It's becoming clear. So, yeah. So there's a yeah, defrauder. They're getting caught for fraud first, is what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. There's the unsatiable, unfillable void. So it's really hard for it not to come up like as is. So it doesn't come up symbolistic in any way. It literally comes up as is. So there's a defrauding energy there when it comes to authenticity. You see what I'm saying now? Because when you have a film, you have to produce the uncut version of it. You have the uncut director's version of it, right? So without the uncut director's cut of it, then you can see that a film, what it really means, what it really stands for, how it really is, the things that really occurred in the direction of the whole entire movie, right? So now there's like questions. Where is the director's cut? Right? Where's the uncut version of it? Right? So there's a lot of that being asked. Where are the uncut versions of everything? Right? So um yeah. Yeah. There's also due to the undersupply, there's also like people's insatiable, those individuals, insatiable treachery, the void in them, right? That's being like angered due to like AI productions and like AI films. So they can't cure because whatever it is that's starving in them, that's being starved out in them, is angered, is actually offended that it's not real. The whole point is that it has to be real because it needs to anger the most high God, right? So kingdom has to be angered for it all to be perceived as if it's working, right? So even that, I don't even know how God is working this, but let's just say I think that's why it's so funny. So that's the reason why it's so funny. So now now we know why the jester is real, right? And maybe that's what it is there. That's why, yup, I knew it. Hey, finally, we figured out who the King of Pentacles is. There we go, of course. I feel like there was a moment in time, there had to be a moment in time. There was when one of the Pharisees was a young child, right? Was a young child. And he would barely find anything amusing. And so he hired a, someone that was of a dwarf, right? And yeah, that's what it is. And so the jester, the dwarf, the person with dwarfism became the jester of the Pharisees, and apparently it was really funny. And I remember it was a time where he was so mad that there were flies. This is the same thing that's happening now to me. Oh my goodness. I love dwarves. Okay, I love dwarves. They own they are owners of this like realm as well. Oh my gosh, they inherit the earth as well. They're very meek, right? Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all. I love them. Right? They really saved ancient Egypt at some certain point. They really did. That's another thing that's real. I tell people all the time they don't want to believe me. Right? I mean, like, how would you not believe that? Right? They really thought it was a genetic mutation. No. No, 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 no. So, like I said, you got the jesters, and then imagine pissing off, like, God forbid, that'd be the worst, right? But that's who they are. Now we know. Now we know. Finally, we're giving that to God. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! I actually know someone. I actually know like a whole bunch of them. I actually know a whole bunch of them. Oh my goodness. We're like really close. Oh my gosh. Wow, they're thinking of me. Oh my god. Stop it. I miss you guys too. Oh yeah, like oh my goodness. Yeah, they're working. They're working. Best believe that they're working. So they didn't see that coming. I don't think they saw that coming. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they didn't see that coming. Oh wow. Oh wow. Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, exactly. So what's not okay though is the fact that they're still trying to exhaust us and exhaust some sort of wilderness. So instinct. So that's what it is that they disapprove of. I don't know where they got the ability to approve or disapprove from. So that's where it is that they're being under judgment about. Okay, so let's finish this up really quickly. Yeah. So they wanted to thieve, they wanted to steal something about approving, disapproving energy. So I'm gonna have to look this up really quickly. Technically, I got more than yeah, they don't gotta know that. See, if I had my iPad right now, this would have been so much faster. But this is what we got to deal with, right? This is what we got to do, right? Deal with. It is what it is. Okay, well, if you're not going to fucking work, I'm just going to look it up like proper. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, there it goes. So we're in, let me see. Yeah, ooh, gotta go. So to assent, right? Regard as good. There it is. Demonstrate to be true. Assent to, regard as good. Demonstrate to be true. So all of it has to do with assent. So trial, assent. So they wanted to act as if that they went through some sort of trial and that they had been, that they ascended, that they proved something when that's not true at all. And then they tried to use a false court to do so. You know, like we could all sit here and pretend to be a court and then wear whatever suits and be whatever actors we get. Like, it's like on TV, like, do people actually get married on TV when they play like a marriage couple and then there's a priest that comes in and says, you know what I mean? Do you da 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 da? And do they actually get married? Is it real marriage? Like I said, these people are delusional. So the same thing is in the false ass court systems here. So now that's what it is that's being seen. So now the test is being asked, like, are those judges actually qualified? Are those people actually qualified? Do they actually go through trials so that they could be qualified? So now they're being they're being dismissed. Do you hear me? They're being dismissed. It's literally being they're being dismissed because they're not paying their taxes. They haven't paid for their fee for Dharma, right? They didn't pay their fee for Dharma. So how would they be receiving Dharma in the emerging market? So pressure for new opportunity in untapped areas. So they wanted to act as if that there was an untapped area for them. Remember? They thought that they had initiative, as if that they received some sort of initiative dharmic effect. They thought that they had proven that they were worth initiative to now pioneer beneficial offerings in which would have been their judgment, in order to receive some sort of recognition. And you see how they're not being recognized as real? That's because they didn't receive any kind of initiative and hadn't actually pioneered any kind of beneficial offerings. Rat King persona. I couldn't make this up one bit. And it's funny that I mentioned a wedding because recently there was a trending video, right, of these two people getting married and then the best friend wearing the Rat King outfit and doing a dance, and it was the bestie, right? Rat King. See how the universe works? I couldn't make it up. I just couldn't make it up. So thrives in environments of chaos, distress, and scarcity. So they chose to move into areas where they believed was an untapped area for initiative, which was of chaos, distress, and scarcity, in order to do the firekeeper persona bullshit, which is in reverse, right? Maintains illusion of group unity while steering it to its own goals. So basically, there's no group unity, and they were being stupid. There it is. So now that they're being noticed as being unholy, which is what God already mentioned, right? Project self-immorality as intent by perjury. They perjured against the high courts of the galaxy. Let me tell you, Guam isn't going to be enough. The kind of hell that these stupid idiots are going to go through is going to be the worst of the worst, and it's going to be so funny. It's going to be so funny. In fact, we've been waiting for this moment. We've been waiting for this moment. Hey, we've been waiting for this. The movie This Is the End couldn't even cut it. Seth Rogen is going to have a new production film starting up. Yeah, it's going to be a new film. Ain't that right, Seth? So, attempts to falsify ordinance. So they basically attempted to do that. So we're going to read through this, right? And that's how they thought that they were going to be seen as the king. I be Rat King. Let's see. Leviticus 27 through 8. Sanctify yourselves therefore and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God. And ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord which sanctify you. See? So there's a sanctification. So Eddie, let's do sanctification. Right. So basically, act of making holy, hallowing, consecration, purification from sin. So that's what it is. They refuse to be purified from sin. They refused to. They were given an opportunity and chance. They refused. So 2 Timothy 3:2. And that's how they also attempted to perjure, to act on behalf of what we were saying. So like if we were like, oh, we choose to be sanctified, we choose to be consecrated, we choose to be holy, they were already on their way to trying to lie to the Lord, to act as if that they could speak on our behalf. And that's how they perjured. So they were attempting to act as the high court as opposed to me, the empress. How many times have we seen that? How many times have we been through this? You dare to sit on my seat? Speak words against my people? For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to their parents, unthankful and unholy. So we got Surah 9:108. Do not stand for prayer within, ever. Bismillah. A mosque founded on righteousness from the first day is more worthy for you to stand in. Within it are men who love purity themselves, and Allah loves those who purify themselves. Okay, so we got Bhagavad Gita 16:7. I always laugh my ass off when the same entities try and look at what I'm doing and be like, no way, that's real. You know when you show someone the contract they signed, like, yeah, right there it says that you sold your soul for misery and discontent and to go to hell and serve all the demonic entities so that you would be raped by blasphemous abominations for all of eternity. And they're like, no way. Sorry, but that's what I'm saying. It's like right there. The demoniacal do not know what to do and what to refrain from. Neither purity nor right conduct nor truth is found in them. Right? So 10 evil acts, 3 of mind. So now they're shocked. They're shocked that they're going to be raped for all eternity by abominations and all sorts of weirdness. You know what I mean? But it's supposed to be funny. So I'm just trying to find where it's supposed to be funny at. You know what I mean? Not me. Because that's obviously what they wanted for us. So I'm just trying to find where it is that God is going to make it funny at. So basically, there it is. There they are. Animal abuser in reverse and false, whatever in reverse. So candle snuffer in reverse. Candle leech persona. Bait layer persona. So candle leech persona. Draws energy from those who shine the brightest. Leaves tempting opportunities designed for a trap. Blocks others' lifestyle to transfer interest. So Jesus quite literally in the angels, the saint that was just here, brought that entity and dropped it to its knees. Because it didn't, like, the saint didn't sign the contract for that to happen. So, like, the saint is like, that's not me. I didn't sign that, right? So, blocks others' lifestyle to transfer interest, right? So now the saint is realizing that demonic, what that unmerciful entity tried to do, right? Attempts to dilute importance of trust. So draws energy from those who shine the brightest, leaves tempting opportunities designed to trap, crown, polish, or persona, keeps those in power looking good to preserve their own position. So they failed to overcome the challenge of the deregulated market. Remember when we talked about that, right? Yeah, it's time for me to go. Remember when we talked about that? Yeah, pressure for adaptation where regulations are removed. So the regulations are about to be removed in this circumstance. so that there would be courage within a circumstance in order to innovate responsibly and to produce some sort of growth. The unmerciful energy is that veil weaver persona, covers events with layers of misdirection, and the layers of misdirection was the candle leech persona, the crown polisher persona, and the bait layer persona. So that energy would be Zechariah 7, 9 through 10, Romans 1:31, Surah 9t, 14 through 17, Bhagavad Gita 16:2, and 10 evil acts remind. So Zechariah 7, 9 through 10. So thus speaking the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother, and oppress not the widow, not the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. So Romans, yeah, which is why I don't be mad at Seth. Like, it's hard for me to be mad at Seth. I can't, picture putting Seth through anything, because it is what it is. Unfortunately, even if he's the, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I don't know what the fuck you want from me. I don't know what the fuck you want from me, okay? Okay, Romans 1:31. Okay, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implication, unmerciful. Okay? And then we have Surah 90, 14 through 17. All right. Or feeding on the day of severe hunger, an orphan of near relationship, or a needy person in misery, and then being amongst those who believed and advised one another to patience and advised one another to compassion. Bhagavad Gita 16:2. A steep path, basically. Vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, purity, freedom from malice, absence of haughtiness. These, O scion of the Bharatas, are marks of him who was born of divine endowment. So they did not want the divine endowment to be filled with courage in order to grow, so that the innovation that was occurring responsibly could be expanded upon by vitality. And so now all the dharmic returns are returning to those who they return to, whom they belong to, because they, such as I and me and those who are a part of the collective that paid the fees, were supposed to be receiving those dharmic returns by now, where those people were trying to steal them, and they did not pay the fees for their dharmic returns, and they didn't even pay their karma either. So yeah, rebirth. And in conclusion, yeah, they're being reprimanded. Yeah, by the spiritual realm. They're being reprimanded by the spiritual realm. And yeah, they're being extinguished while that endowment is being expanded upon, which is what they what they wanted to stand in the way of. You see what I'm talking about now? You see why I fucking this pissed off at energy? Yeah, even Seth is getting pissed at that energy. Like, what the fuck? Because like, how are the people who were given like the real poor positions, the real bad cards in life, the real terrible cards in life, how are they supposed to do their job? Even, God created the devil too. How's the devil supposed to do its job if these stupid motherfuckers are keep on trying to pretend to be the devil? You know what I mean? So now they're trying to take opportunity from the devil. Now the devil is pissed. The angels are pissed. Well, the angels are laughing because the devil's pissed. Because that's hilarious. That's probably what it is. The demons and all those entities that they done thought they wanted to sign a contract with, you know what I mean? To act like they own them and whatever the fuck. They're all pissed because now they can't really do what their job, quote unquote, was supposed to be, but actually it was their only means of what was supposed to be their existence. And now they're all being sucked in by that same insatiable void that those people cannot fill, those individuals cannot fill. So that's what's going on. So yeah, it's hilarious, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.